How did your partner first ask you out?
We first met through an online dating site, and it was in the middle of summer, and we just never met up. And then when I returned to work in the fall, I'm a teacher, one of my coworkers said that she had this great guy she wanted to set me up with. And as soon as she showed me the picture, I said, wait a minute. And we finally made a date.
Her senior year, my sophomore year in college, we were friends for about a year. I guess I would say that I made the first move one night and we just kissed.
We were working at a company, and she was the only other brown woman there. Yeah. And I saw her, and I walked up the ramp, and she was chewing gum. And I said, are you really going to pop your gum like that?
So I was like, okay, so she's not going to be my friend.
And we were friends for like 8 years before there was a first kiss. We look back on pictures now when we were friends, and we were in love. And we didn't know we were in love.
We really didn't.
My signature move was, hey, let me buy you a shot, and it worked.
She was my brother's wife's roommate, and she came to Israel for their wedding and then invited me to a New Year's Eve party.
I was actually singing on a cruise ship that Layla was working on as well. I asked her to lunch because I was trying to find the most approachable yet stern, not creepy way to hang out with her.
We went to college together, and yes, we were best friends for 12 years. I always liked her, always was in love with her. One day we went out, and we went to IHOP, and then we did like a whole long day together. And then the next day I kind of just called and I was like, look, I'm falling for you, I'm in love with you, and she felt the same way.
Our friends, a couple of friends, they started making bets on when we get together, and we're like, what are you
And then we found out,
about?
they told us about it.
And then we ended up just
that day
getting together.
I asked her out first, but it was like on, I was trying to play it off like on some friend stuff to, to kind of soften it in case she turned me down. You know how that goes.
So we was friends, but then he was acting like we were dating. It's just weird. Guys just do crazy stuff.
We were never friends in my book, honestly. That's what I made her think.
No, we was friends.
Okay, we were friends.
Facebook is my best friend, so, in college we had a lot of mutual friends. So I've seen her plenty of times before, but I didn't want to be that guy who's like, hey, I see a pretty girl at a house party, let me go talk to her. So I waited until after the party later on that night. I sent her a message on Facebook, hey, how you doing?
He was hilarious, so that helped.
That does help.
Because you can't pick up people via Facebook. This is not a thing.
It's a thing now.
I was the one that made the first move, and I kept making moves and moves and moves, and she was never into it.
He was actually a player. He likes to play with a lot of girls, so I was kind of scared of him. But it took maybe 2 years?
But you see, 2 years.
After 2 years, we were in a disco, and then in the street, we actually kissed.
I used to think that it was so cheap that we met in a bar, but now I think it's very quaint because there were no naughty texts or photos. We just saw each other and we liked each other.
We met at a gathering place for old hippies in Woodstock, New York. It was a Halloween party.
I moved in 3 weeks later.
I took her to Phantom of the Opera.
That was when we were in college, so it was very romantic, and he told me it was absolutely not a date, actually. That was the beginning of the date.
There we were at this Jewish singles event. I was kind of on the rebound, trying to get over somebody. Some friend of Bernard's kept following me around all evening long, and he didn't make the age cutoff for me. So at some point he brought Bernard around and said, I think you might like to meet this guy.
We had gone with ours separately to a concert in our hometown that they used to have for kids, the kids' concerts. We had mutual friends, and the mutual friends were going out with one another, and they wanted someone to go with them, like a double date, to an amusement park. And we've been together ever since.
We grew up next door to each other. We were both kindergarten together. We didn't see each other since high school, and I decided to have lunch with her, and then I decided to ask her out.
The thing is, my friend, she went and told him that I thought he was cute. And then the next time we saw each other, he said, why don't we go out Friday night?
We met at Indiana University, and we dated for a year and a half or so.
And he and his friends sat behind me and made fun of my hair and my clothing. Do you want to add something?
What? We met because we were working for the same company.
And at 18, I went into the Israeli army, and Charlie had to go to his brother's wedding in the States. It took just too long, so I finished my army service and I flew to Australia.
I told her, rather than flying back to Israel, come to the United States, I'll be responsible. She did go home, but it was like
after
two and a half years later with an 8-month-old daughter.
My brother was a third-year student, and he thought that he should get me a date for a big spring weekend since I was sophomore in college at that point.
And they considered me but immediately rejected me as inappropriate. And we were at the same party, and my date wasn't feeling very well, and she went back to her room, and I figured, well, I might as well go back to the party, and I thought this girl looked very nice. And at the end of the weekend, I asked her date whether he had any particular claims on her, and he said, not particularly. So I called her up and asked her to go to see Mrs. McThing, which was playing.